Hey, what's going on, Momentum Mastery fam? I'm just waiting to get in my office here, uh, but I'm excited to go. I'm going to give you guys a few moments to join as I hop into the office here, and we'll get started. Okay, like I said, I'm going to give you guys a minute to join so I can figure this out. Room 4. Oh, this is room 5. Wait, my apologies. Well, okay, sorry. Just getting a minute started late here. Okay, all right, y'all. So today, welcome to Momentum Mastery. Hopefully, give you guys a minute to join. I'm excited. If this is your first time here, a couple things to kind of keep in mind. So in the top corner under the dashboard, this is a great place to get started. So that'll be like, quick start guide, how to get into here, how to get navigated through the course. Also, we go live doing these coaching calls. We do these workout calls um, all throughout the week, Monday through Friday. So you can join that tab and do that as well. And then we have our coaches like myself and other designated coaches, and our sole purpose is to answer your questions, to help be your coach inside of this program, which is pretty sweet. So we're VIP coaches. We've been doing this for a lot of years, a lot of experience, and so I'm excited to we can answer any questions you have or anything like that. But today's topic is an interesting one because we all want to be comfortable, and I think it's easy for us to, um, I don't want to say lazy, but it's easy for us to be comfortable. But sometimes, being stagnant can be a problem. And so we're going to dive into the topics today. I'm going to pull my notes up here real quick, um, and we'll get started. But real quick, if you're new here, drop a little comment in the comments that you're new. Some of you I recognize. I've seen it in here quite a bit, which is pretty awesome. But hey, yeah, yep. Kathy's always checking it out. So good to see you in here all the time, rocking and rolling here. All right, so let me ask you guys a question. All right, this is kind of something I wrote down. What if I told you the biggest threat to your health isn't sugar, carbs, or aging? Okay, it's comfort. So it's going to be. And I tell I coach youth football, and I tell my youth football kids this all the time. But let me paint a picture, okay? So all right. So this is kind of how a day could go, right? So you wake up in a soft bed, right? And it's all cozy. And I don't know about you guys, but I used to jump out of bed, and as I've gotten a little bit older, every year I feel like I don't jump out of bed the same I used to. But it's a little bit slower. My alarm goes off, and takes me a little bit to get going. But you get out of your soft bed, you walk 10 steps to the coffee maker, you drive somewhere, you sit at your desk, you might order some groceries from your desk. You watch some TV, and then you scroll until bed. And that's pretty much how a day goes, right? Um, your body is built to survive. Your bodies were built to survive a challenge, but they're living in this world that removes all challenges. And I think it's important to we got to find this fine balance, because even in fitness, like you've got health and you've got fitness. And Tony Robbins talks about this a lot, but the two are totally different. So like health is like longevity, feeling your best energy, nutrients, um, how you function, if you have joint pain, no pain. Those are like health signals. Fitness is more like being fit to do an activity or like a sporting event. So there's a totally two different things going on here. So we have to find that fine balance, because a lot of people can be really fit, but maybe they're not as healthy because they went too hard in the paint. But I'm talking to those that are maybe going not hard enough. Um, but the body has been designed to move. So I think like the foundation of this all is just daily walking. If you're not getting daily walking in, it's definitely got to be a part of your life. If you can, if you have the ability to walk and move, it's what our ancestors did. The amount of steps a day that we do now is, it's crazy how little of steps we get in compared to what life used to be. So, if you think about our ancestors, they walked miles every day. They carried their kids. There was no, I mean, they might have created some kind of makeshift sling, but there wasn't strollers and those things. I mean, they would walk for miles carrying a baby or a child if they threw a fit, maybe. They would haul water. They would be climbing and squatting and hunting, and they'd be building their shelter. I mean, they were working. And, it wasn't exercise, it was just life. And I found that when you look at different cultures and societies, and there's different documentaries out there that talk about centennial cultures, cultures where living to 100 is honestly pretty normal. And there's only a few in the world. And every one of those, what they have in common is that movement is a part of life. It's not exercise. One of them is in Italy, and literally the entire town is on like an incline, and everybody walks everywhere. So like people in their 90s are walking down from their apartment or their home, going downhill, grabbing groceries, carrying the groceries up the hill back to their house. It's just a part of their life. So today, in our society and a lot of American cultures and a lot of places that we live, I mean, even where I live, I live in Kansas City, and there's really not very many walkable areas. I mean, you pretty much are going to be driving anywhere that you need to go. Even where I'm at right now in my office, there's nothing close by. Like there's a highway that I get on, but I'm not going to be able to walk anywhere. And so now it's like we're replacing these 14-hour. We're trying to replace hours of inactivity. 14 hours of inactivity with a 45-minute workout, and then it's kind of like brushing your teeth like once a week. So this is how I look at it. So you have your aerobic activity, which should be pretty much every day. You should spend about 20 to 30 minutes in that aerobic um, heart rate zone. So what does that look like? It would be so a general rule, everybody's different. You have to take a test, like a VO2 max test and stuff like that to figure out where you're at. But to stay in an aerobic zone, an easy way to remember this is 180 minus your age is your heart rate where it should be. Or if it's not easy to carry on a conversation, that's about where you should be. So about 30 minutes every day, you should be doing something that's going to get you to where having a conversation is not easy. And you should be getting a minimum of 6,000 steps. If you are getting 6,000, you should go for 8,000. If you're getting 8,000, you should go for 10,000. That should be the day, that should just be life, how life happens. Park at the end of the parking lot. I always park at the end of the parking lot no matter where I'm at. I'm always parking at the end of the parking lot. I'm always taking the steps, unless I got to go to like the 15th floor or something. But if I'm going a couple flights, I'm taking the steps. Even 4 flights, I'm going to take the steps, and I'm going to ensure that I'm just naturally walking, just like brushing my teeth. Like I said, and then your workouts are more anaerobic, and those can be a couple times a week. You can do, strength training, weight training, knock it out. Get 2 full body workouts in a week, and that should suffice. I mean, 45 minutes twice a week, and you're good with working out as far as resistance training goes, and the rest of it should just be aerobic activity. Um, so what does constant comfort do to the body? Okay. So here's what it does to the body, constant comfort. So what does it do to your muscles? If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Okay. So every year after the age of 40, you're going to lose about 1% of your muscle mass. So your muscles are shrinking, your strength is going down, and balance gets worse and worse. So I think a lot of people don't really understand that lifting weights and building muscle, it's not so that you can, be a bodybuilder. It's so that you can have balance, so that you can be independent and you're not gonna fall. And my grandparents both ended up in a nursing home. My brother and I, my parents passed away when I was younger, so my grandparents raised me, and at some point they ended up where they pretty much had to have us at their house 24/7, taking care of them because they let themselves go, and so they ended up in a nursing home. And ultimately, most people, it results from a fall. They fell, couldn't get up, and then they were in a nursing home for 10 years. So you've got to build strength so that you have your balance. You've got to focus on all those things. It's so important. So that's the first thing. The next thing it does to your body is it's the metabolism. Okay, so less movement is going to mean that you're going to be burning fewer calories. You're going to reduce your insulin sensitivity, and you're going to gain fat a lot easier. So the more that you can get aerobic activity in, or just your daily steps, the more that you're going to be insulin sensitive. What does that mean? Insulin sensitivity just means that whenever you're eating carbohydrates, it's getting used into the muscle. It's getting used for good, basically, not for bad. It's not getting stored as fat. And you want to be insulin sensitive. You don't want to be insulin resistant. Insulin resistance is what creates the diabetes, the sugar spikes, the blood sugar problems. Keeping that blood sugar stable is the key, and that's going to be with moving daily. They've actually done studies and they've shown that just a 10-minute walk after a meal, it basically takes care of this. You basically will eliminate your chances of diabetes just by going on a 10-minute walk after you eat every meal. And so that you just got to keep these things in mind. It's so important. The next thing is your joints. All right. So movement is going to help lubricate your joints. A lot of people try to stop moving and then you get stiff. I don't know about you guys, but I get up in the morning sometimes and I'm feeling stiff. My shoulder's stiff. I know I've got a shoulder issue from football. I got two knees from powerlifting days that bother me. And so when I get out of bed, I'm feeling it. I've got 25, 26 years of weight training that I've done, and it takes a toll on my body. It's taken a toll. And so, but I've noticed that when I go on movement and I walk and I keep the body moving, it keeps those joints lubricated. And so really when you sit, man, it dries those joints out and it's just not any good. So think of the Tin Man. He's going to need some oil, and that's kind of how the body is. The body's getting that oil from the movement, so it's super important. Okay, all right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is your bones. All right, so bones have to have force. Okay, without loading the bone, your bone density is going to decrease and fracture risk is going to increase. So it is super important for your bones to be moving and to have some kind of forcement. Now, I don't mean like go and do anything that's going to like dramatically hurt your joints or your knees. You want to do something that's going to help your knees and help your joints, but without loading them, you're going to have bone density decreases and you're going to have a more of a risk of fractures. So again, not moving creates broken bones. Okay. All right. So the next thing is the most important thing of all, and that's your brain. Okay. So again, my grandmother, who ended up in a nursing home with balance issues, she also developed dementia. Um, and so basically, what happened was in the 1980s, whenever I came around, my mom struggled with drugs and alcohol, and I ended up in a foster home. And then my grandmother and grandfather took me in and raised me. And through that experience and through that, my grandmother just really just became very sedentary. And so she basically sat on the couch my entire childhood. And that led to dementia and all these things that I'm talking about. So when I talk about this stuff, it is like true to my heart. And it's something that I really, it's very important to me. So I just want to talk to you guys, so with your brain, it's going to affect your mood, it's going to affect your memory, it's going to affect stress, whether you are resilient to stress or not resilient to stress. So just moving daily and being more active, it's going to help your mood. It's going to help release those endorphins. It's going to get your all those things flowing. You're going to have better focus. You're going to have better memory. They say again, studies show that in the workplace, people that do like a team walk after lunch, not only do they help their insulin sensitivity and all these things, they actually have some of the best ideas and some of the best, most creative time when they have sort of this like group walking type meeting right after lunch. Um, Whenever they do that, so there's some really cool stuff out there when it comes to just walking. So sitting all day is just it's going to lead people to feel just mentally sluggish. And I don't know about you guys, but like certain days of the week, or my days where I create nutrition plans and workout plans. And I have yet to have sort of one of those walking treadmill computers. I'm usually at my desk. So I used to be a personal trainer, and so I was always on the floor with clients all day back to back. And now I'm at my computer a lot. So I know on some of those days when I'm building out, 10, 15 nutrition plans and I'm at my computer for 5, 6 hours at a time, I feel more tired on those days than the days I'm out moving and grooving and getting things going. And it's wild. It's just crazy how that works. But that's how it works. All right. So now we're going to talk about modern technology. All right. So modern technology, it's not bad. It's important. So you just don't want to make technology the villain, just like what I was saying about my computer. I mean, I've got to work on my computer. Technology is what's bringing us together right now. It's a beautiful thing. So I love technology. I use AI. I use AI a lot. AI has been a very good thing for me to get my brain, because I have all these thoughts and all these ideas, and it kind of helps organize my thoughts, organize my ideas, help me brainstorm. So I use AI for a lot of brainstorming stuff and a lot of helping me kind of compile my ADHD thoughts and bring them all together for better focus. And it's good for ordering groceries. I order groceries on there. I drive. The goal isn't to reject convenience. Okay, so it's just you got to make sure that you're still moving. So it's to make sure that convenience doesn't replace your movement. So I think that's the key. You've got to make movement just a priority in your life, and that's something that you just need to keep continually trying to do as we're going through this. Okay. But before I go on to my next thing, I'm going to do a quick shameless plug. Now I'm going to drop this in the comments, and it's a link to take a metabolic quiz and find out kind of where your metabolism's at, and kind of where you're at with all that. Um, Someone put that there. So yeah, oftentimes, us coaches, we offer coaching, and through VShred, we have a VIP program where you get custom nutrition, workouts. You get to work alongside with one of us. Literally, my phone is in my pocket. Clients can message me anytime, and I'm within 20 minutes. I'm getting back to them. Okay, so definitely check that out. All right, Kathy, what you got here? It says I agree. I have a meme that says a comfort zone is nice, but nothing ever grows there. Yeah, I mean, it's true. You're either growing or you're dying. So I think it's important to know that it's important to keep moving. So, but yeah, and it's hot here too. So I live in Kansas City. Our heat index is really really hot. So I totally get it. Um, and so I think it's on days like today, and this is where it's hard because I don't know about where you're at, but we don't necessarily have indoor malls anymore. So you can't really go and do the old mall walking. But do the best you can. I mean, even if there's a pool, what I've learned is just, man, when it's hot, it's good to get in the water and move around. And so whether it's with your kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, friends, whoever it might be, but just kind of like getting in the pool and moving and getting active and moving the arms and legs around is another good way to kind of get moving when it's super hot outside. My birthday was a couple days ago, and every year it's like 100 degrees, and you don't want to do anything but be inside or be in a pool somewhere. So I totally get it. But if you got an indoor mall, if you're old school, if you got something like that in your town, definitely check that out. All right. So how do we fight the convenience crisis? Let's talk about that. Okay. I'm going to give you some action steps here. Walking daily. Okay. Like I said, 8 to 10,000 steps is ideal. If you're not at 6,000, start there. Do 6,000 for a month. Do 7,000 for a month. Do 8,000 for a month, every day, and eventually you'll get to 10,000 and make that your normal. 10,000 steps, that takes some intentionality every day. Like you've got to kind of intentionally think about walking in order to hit 10,000 steps. Usually you're going to get about 100 steps a minute, so that's um, right. Yeah, so that's 100 minutes basically to get 10,000 steps in of walking. Um, and it's not because this is magic; it's because humans are made to move. I mean, that's the thing. We're supposed to be moving, so you really it's important that you've got to get your walks in. You've got to get those steps in because that's what we do. Human beings walk and be a human being. So, all right. Next thing, lifting weights, another really important thing, more of an anaerobic activity, but and maybe and honestly, it's not as much as you might think. Twice a week, 2 45-minute workouts a week, full body workouts is going to get the job done as far as lifting weights goes. If you can get more than that, awesome. My favorite workout split in the whole world for clients is a upper body, then a rest day, lower body, 2 rest days, and then do like a full body workout on like a Saturday, So like workout Monday, upper body, take Tuesday off, lower body Wednesday, take Thursday, Friday off, and then Saturday morning just get a full body workout in. That's like the greatest. It hits everything twice and it's efficient. But there's a lot of ways to go about it. You have more days to work out, then you can do stuff like upper body, lower body, and then do push pull legs. If you're crazy, you could do push pull legs and then do it again and do it twice in a week. But you're gonna get twice if you can get twice a week in, that'll suffice. I think it's really just prioritizing your priorities. So it's really just understanding that like step one, you've got to get your steps in, and that's the foundation. Your aerobic is kind of the foundation, and then your anaerobic builds on that. So get your aerobic going, and then build your anaerobic from there. Carry stuff, carry things, whether it be groceries or your grandkid, your kid, your adult kid, whatever it might be. But just farmer carry groceries, carry your kids, luggage, just real world strength. That stuff matters. And so just find stuff, pick it up. Do some yard work. Man, the other day I did some yard work. I was putting some concrete blocks, like cinder blocks, into a wheelbarrow. Man, that beat me up. Another thing, I've got an axe, and sometimes I'm chopping wood for the bonfires and stuff like that. It's been pretty hot, but this fall I love to chop some wood and get some bonfires going. So just do some real world functional activity. Again, we're trying to kind of go back to how things used to be and how we're supposed to be moving as human beings. All right. So take the hard. This is kind of what I've talked about already, but take the hard option. Okay. So park further away. Take the stairs. Walk to talk. So sometimes if I'm on the phone, I'm pacing, and I don't know if it's just the way I do things, but a lot of times if I'm on the phone, man, I'm walking. I'm pacing back and forth. Sometimes during meetings, I'm standing. So if I can get my desk up, then I'll do like a standing type meeting, yard work, shoveling snow. Just use your body. That's super important. So just really make it kind of I mow my yard. So like we used to pay a guy to mow our yard. Now I just do it because it's a great time for me to listen to my ebooks and just get my steps in. So I love doing that. If my kids are doing yard work, then I'm out there with them. I'm teaching them how to do yard work. I'm picking up sticks in the yard while they're cutting grass, and I'm weed eating or whatever it might be. But I'm out there doing stuff to kind of get my body moving. So, but also just like every 30 minutes to an hour, I usually stand up. I'm kind of stretch a little bit. I might walk around the office, walk around the room. Just a minute of just kind of moving my body and walking around is a pretty good place to be at. So, um, yeah. What else we got? What else we got? I've got some more notes here. Um, but let me ask you guys some questions, okay? What kind of 70-year-old do you want to become, or 80-year-old, or 90-year-old, or what kind of 100-year-old do you want to be? Type it in the comments. What kind of person do you want to be when you get to that age? So yeah, you're in Joplin. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. That's great, man. I love going to Home Depot, getting my walking in. Um, that's a great idea. That's a good place to be. All right, cool. Joplin, yep. Um, so yeah, but like I said, maybe in the comments, put down who do you want to be? Who do you want to become? You know, maybe it's be strong. Maybe it's you still want to be able to hike. You still want to play with your grandkids, travel, carry your own groceries. Um, My grandmother was in her 80s, still doing yard work, and she would have kept living. She ended up with my other grandmother. So I had two grandmothers. One was super sedentary, and the other one is super active. And the super active one lived well into her 80s, and was super active all the way up until she died. What's kind of weird is they both lived to about the same age, but the quality of life was drastically different between the two. My unhealthy grandmother was 89 when she died, but she spent the last 15 years in a nursing home, pretty much wheelchair bound. The other one died at 89, but literally like right before she died, I mean, she was still moving and grooving. She just was an old farm lady, and she got abdominal cancer or cervical cancer and never really told anybody. And that was it. So, but, you know, who do you want to be? Who do you want to be at that age? Do you want to be active or not active? It's something that you really want to think about. Okay. I'm gonna get off here in a minute, but I'm gonna wrap this up, okay? So the key takeaway here, the goal isn't to avoid comfort, or it's not to avoid the comfort, it's to intentionally create some challenge, okay? So force yourself to maybe get some exercise in, a walk, a lift, carry something, climb on something, play with something, move something, because the body adapts to whatever life is going to be, of whatever demands are coming in life. So if life doesn't demand anything, then eventually your body delivers nothing, and you that's where we get in trouble. So but if you're constantly asking your body to move, lift, and grow stronger, it'll reward you with more energy, resilience, confidence, and independence. So but this is my closing call to action. Like I said, if you're interested in coaching with us at VShred, click the link in the bio on the comments, and yeah, speak with one of us experts on what it looks like, what kind of programs we have out there. We've got 3, 6, 12, 18, 24-month programs, and it really just comes down to what's going to be the best fit for you. So if it makes sense, hey, let's work together. So but but that's pretty much all I got about this. It's really simple, guys. I mean, it's simple, but it's not easy, right? It's not always easy to get yourself up and get going, but book a call with us. Let's build a body that's ready for life and not just, for comfort. So I got about a minute left here. What else we got? I want to still be doing strength training and able to play with my great grandkids. Yep, absolutely. I mean, how great would it be at your oldest age to be strength training and moving around and being active? And yeah, surprise people your age. I think that's super important. I'm always inspired by people that are super strong and super healthy looking well into their older years. It's very inspiring for me when they're in that level. And I know it's not easy, but all we can do is take small steps now to start creating those things later on. So get to Menards and walk those 57,000 square feet. So, and get rolling. All right. All right, you guys. Like I said, my name's Coach Sean. I've been with VShred for a while. I've been a coach for 20 years, and I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for you to get your body moving and don't get used to comfort. I know myself. After this call, man, I'm gonna go for a walk. It's hot outside, but I'm definitely gonna be going for a walk. I know for me, um, actually tomorrow I start coaching my son's football team, so we'll be 2 hours every night running drills with 8-year-olds, and that's gonna keep me moving for sure. So, all right, you guys, it's been real. Take care. God bless, and we'll talk to you guys next time.